Welcome to episode 54 of Star Wars and Scotch. I'm Kevin, blowing out Tim's eardrums, live from the Rare Drop Studios here in Tampa, Florida. Do you like the way that sounds?
It was interesting. We can play around with it. I don't want that to be, the intro, but I like where you're going with it.
You don't like live from the Rare Drop Studios in Tampa,
Tampa
Florida.
Bay, Florida. It's Star Wars and Scotch.
Star Wars and Scotch.
Star Wars in the morning and Scotch. Kevin and Tim. Hey guys, it's Tim, also known as Darkness 429.
Did you put Scotch in your coffee?
No. I made a latte though.
A latte of what?
Yes.
How was your art? Did you make a lightsaber with your art this morning?
It kind of looked like a lightsaber.
On purpose?
Nope.
Was it a scary ghost again? I like the person that commented and said, it said the ghost is scary only because of your latte art.
That's atrocious. Really bad.
One day you'll get better. Speaking of coffee, make sure you head over to kingscoastcoffee.com. The fall stuff is out. Go enjoy autumn. And if you live on the Long Island area, I highly suggest going in and getting anything with Wayne's homemade pumpkin syrup in it from the Kings Coast Cafe in Bohemia, New York. But if you're not on Long Island, kingscoastcoffee.com, fall collection. And a little birdie told me, Tim, and I think they told you too, that people should pay attention to Kings Coast on October 1st.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it. That's all I got.
No, if you guys... Yeah, one of the most demanded items that we put out there outside of coffee and outside of stickers. If you like that item, if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. Stay tuned. October 1st.
October 1st. Let's jump into it. Visions released this past Wednesday.
Yes.
Two mostly positive reviews from what I've seen. As I expected, I was 50-50. And we're not going to deep dive into each episode, but we will give, reference point for each episode and what we thought of it. Tim just wrapped watching it today. You watched La Pinocho and Akakiri this morning.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. La Pinocho was, I'm just going to start off by saying that La Pinocho is my favorite one out of all of them.
Okay.
That one, with the way it ends, I literally said out loud, "Oh, I want more."
La Pinocho, I agree with you. It could totally be a series. I was shocked at how much I liked La Pinocho because you know me. For those that don't know, I'm not an anime person. I'm not down with Dragon Ball Z.
I'm surprised you liked any of this.
Oh, I loved most of it, to be honest. And now Paul and Nate are like, oh, well, we need to show you more anime. Da, 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 da.
Oh, is this your anime gateway drug?
Apparently, I don't know. It's, I like Castlevania.
That's anime leads to hentai. Hentai leads to...
Oh, God. It's not porn, babe. It's hentai.
This is art.
Look at how beautiful that tentacle is. La Pinocho told a phenomenal story. I was engaged throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
I would love to see more. I definitely judged the book by its cover with the bunny girl. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. Here's some anime.
But you know what's crazy, though, is that type of character could exist in Star Wars.
100%.
And that's the way that it's been designed, is that like a rabbit, like a furry person, like is not unheard of in Star Wars. So for her to have a rabbit figure made sense.
Well, do you remember the Bucky O'Hare from back in the day, that green rabbit? I think it was a video game. I could not get that.
Oh, I could see
out
where
of
you
my
were getting
head
that from.
Yeah, I couldn't. But the story was great. The one funny thing I picked up on that episode was everything in the background, like posters and anything on scrolls and whatnot, was written in kanji and not Urabesh, which I found amusing.
Well,
because in Star Wars, nothing's...
Sorry, Kevin, you're cutting in and out.
No, in Star Wars, everything is based on Urabesh,
right,
which is Galactic Basic. So it was just funny to see it in kanji, and I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah, well, I think they did it, and this is like for all of the episodes, they did a really good job of embracing the Japanese culture and the anime art styles within the Japanese cultures, which I really appreciated. I thought that was really, really cool that like every episode was definitely like a nod to a certain anime style, a certain way of telling stories through anime. Like even like the stark difference between like Akakiri and La Pinocha, and I'm just referring to those because these are the last two that I just saw. Like, there's a way that they told a story was completely different from one another. Even just like transitions and the way that they actually just like progress through the story. Like Akakiri is like very disjointed, as opposed to La Pinocha tells a really beautiful story from start to finish.
So moving on to Akakiri, you felt like it was super disjointed. I felt like it didn't have enough context as to what was happening.
Every time there was a transition, I'm like, what just happened? How did we? And just like before I knew it, it was over. And I like the ending because it was so different from all the other ones where it was like this good versus evil, and this was just evil. Like the whole thing was just like this guy is just tormented by demons the entire way through, which is like another storytelling style in anime, is like always like showing off like the evil parts of the world and the demons that we struggle with and whatnot.
I enjoyed the Sith in this one. I thought she was well put together as a character, and I would love to see more of a Sith like that.
It felt like I was watching. It felt like I was in the Emperor's throne room in episode 6. Like that entire like the way that the overall presence the sister had. She was like, it just felt like the Emperor. Just like the whole like, join me together, we could rule the galaxy. I can save her. It was just like, I've seen this before.
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed about going back to La Pinocha, sorry, I wanted to put this point in, is they definitely followed the formula there of the orphan adopted
child. They did it really well.
Yeah, which is a common theme in all of Star Wars. So they brought it into this one, which I found interesting as well. So I wanted to comment on that real quick.
But I honestly, out of all of them, I think La Pinocha could just be the Star Wars. It could be like, if it's not that story, I like the way that just like, it felt like I was watching Ghost in the Shell. And I know you probably haven't seen Ghost in the Shell, but like,
I have not.
It felt very old school Ghost in the Shell. The way that they did the animations, the way that just the art was done, the storytelling is just like, all of that felt really good. It felt like a really, really good anime. And if they were to bring out a Star Wars anime that was canon, I would really hope to God that they could follow like this. And I was thinking about it in the shower this morning. The whole idea of having like this feudal Japan style culture, it's really not, it wouldn't be weird to even like enter into a planet or into a star system that had like, that was like the main form of government within that area. Like let's say it was like in the Outer Rim somewhere that hadn't been explored, and it was very like feudal Japan shogun-esque style. Like you could get away with that. Because, I mean, like, all these cultures develop in all different types of ways. Who's to say that you don't go a little Westworld with this, and, like, these guys decided to just go down the Japanese route?
We saw it a bit in Mandalorian with the episode where Ahsoka was introduced. That had feudal vibes.
Very much so.
They put a bit more Western in there, which obviously is what Star Wars is at the end of the day. But, okay, perfect segue to The Duel. The first one, which is my personal favorite. I was blown away at the art of that episode.
It was very unique.
The black and white, the film grain, the straight up old school Kurosawa, that 50s vibe just captured me and took me. And I'm sad that was my first experience with Visions, because for me, and no offense to the other ones, like I said, I liked La Pinocha. There was a few others that we'll talk about. Ninth Jedi was great, but that was the best one. That one was just so original and so different. And I was telling the guys in the office, I said they didn't try and blend anything. All they did was take elements of feudal Japan and put them into Star Wars, and it wasn't a blending. It was just like, take this and put it on this, and that's what you get. For instance, the hat on the droid, that's the hat you have in Ghost of Tsushima for your Ronin set. I don't know. That one was my favorite. I loved the story was amazing because, and I thought you would be really intrigued by that story because it really showed the Sith in a different light, that it wasn't just, pure evil. It was almost a gray Sith. I don't know the term that you would use for that.
I don't think he was evil though. I mean, like, so I think you interpreted that story differently than I did.
Go ahead.
So I saw that as, I thought he was just I thought he was a Sith hunter. I thought he was just a gray Jedi that was hunting down evil because like he had all these red kyber crystals that were already on his within his tunic. So he's been hunting all these people down. It felt like I agree. It felt genuine to a traditional like old Japanese samurai movie. I really like how they just used red as the only color in the movie. Yep. Like it was just red. Red was the only, and so that's why I think it was a little like with him having a red lightsaber, they couldn't give him another color because red was the accent. It was only red, which I thought was really neat. Her umbrella was probably like the coolest part for me in that episode was her umbrella. And I thought about it. I was like, you could pull that off in Star Wars now. Like all you had to do is just change the focal length of the beam, and you could actually emit your lightsaber through an umbrella like that, and it'd be really sick. But yeah, like action packed. I really love the whole like the droid relationship. It felt very Star Wars. It felt very relatable. So it was good. It just definitely wasn't my favorite. But then we move into Tatooine Rhapsody, which was really rough. I could see this style of Star Wars cartoon living on something like a Disney, the Disney Channel for kids. If they wanted to bring out like a fun like Star Wars for kids, like you could do something like that. But outside of that, I just really despise this episode. It just wasn't fun for me.
That one's the one with the most talented voice actors too. That like you knew everyone in that. Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in that one. There's a whole bunch of people. I hated that episode. Yeah, hated it. It was the worst of the entire one for me, and that was part of the problem too. As I go from the duel into this one, and I'm like, oh god,
yeah, it was a hard transition.
Ride. Yeah, that one just everything about it. Okay, question: was the bass player was he a Hutt?
The guy they were hunting was the Slug.
Was he a Hutt though?
Well, Jabba wanted him to join the Hutt clan. That was the
species wise. Was he a Hutt? I know that part.
Are you asking if he's a Hutt species?
Yeah, is he a Hutt?
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. At first, I didn't click that he was a Hutt. I thought he was just some sort of space slug because of the coloring and everything.
No,
But then I thought back to Zero from Clone Wars. I was like, Zero was purple, so yeah, they can be all sorts of different colors.
But Zero is also a Hutt. Yeah, they all come in different shapes and sizes. Sorry, I was so confused. I was like, yeah, he is a Hutt, but he wants to be a part of the Hutt clan.
Right. No. Overall, though, I just
yeah,
the music was actually good
of all the episodes.
Yeah, the music was good. I'll give it that.
It was fun. I was tapping my foot too, but like other than that, it was just kind of like it had a good moral story of just like not giving up on family. Like like they're all different, but they were all brought together because they were all broken. Like I thought it was fun, but like that's like a really deep layer. But the top layer was just rough.
The twins.
Yeah, this was good.
This was good and interesting. This is the one where I told you the other day people are getting confused. If they think Visions is canon, then this is post episode 9.
No, they're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, and then they think this is what happened.
If people, no. Okay, so let's talk about that. Or let's talk about that for a second. Like this was my concern when Disney made the decision to release non-canon material. And so when you start bringing back the old Clone Wars cartoons, you bring out these cartoons that are not considered canon. They're just considered like free expression. They're just out there to be fun. The people with the larger IQ understand that, but for some reason there is a small sect of Star Wars fans that only watch the movies, who don't pay attention to anything else, and then they like watch this and they believe that whatever they see is real. And so Disney, unfortunately, now has a problem where they're telling these fun stories that people are going to start believing are actually a part of the true Star Wars canon timeline.
And here's the problem with the super fans who like to gatekeep everything is you run into an issue here where, okay, I'm going to say, Disney ruined the Star Wars universe. Well, that would mean that you don't enjoy your Legends content anymore, right? And that would mean that you technically can't enjoy this because if you're so fixated on what's canon,
yep.
Are you fixated on enjoying the intellectual property for what it is? Guess what? I have a bubble to pop for all of you. None of it's real.
Yeah.
It's all fake. It's all fake. It is all fake. So does it really matter if it plays into a storyline or if it's just a good story?
No, right. But the issue is that when you have people who believe it so much to the extent that they'll go and fight it, like that's the issue. Is like when they start releasing non-canon material without really like specifying and saying, hey, by the way, like I wish there was some way, like they do it really well in What If. Every time they open up an episode of What If, they talk about the million possibilities and all these different timelines, blah, 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 blah. Like if they would have opened up saying like, hey, by the way, these this is a what if scenario, I think that would have like helped clarify a lot of it. But like, again, people believe that these are not this is a canon story. So now we're like, how do you fix that problem?
Yeah, and the difference between Marvel is that the multiverse is an already established part of the Marvel universe, so It's very difficult to. Now they've toyed with the multiverse.
I think Star Wars is trying to introduce a multiverse.
I just think they're not trying to do it so abruptly.
Agreed.
So it looks like another copy paste from Marvel. They're trying to, the seed was laid down in Rebels, and then we've come this far. I do think you're right. There was a game or something that was coming down the pipeline. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was that they were saying won't be canon, but could be attributed to a Star Wars multiverse, which I found interesting. But if they do that, then they already have 3 other timelines of Legends that they can pull from to create different timelines and scenarios, which would be fun. And then you could have crossover, like a Vader versus Vader would be just wild shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely want to make sure that it's understood that like I love what they've done with Visions. I want them to do more of this stuff. Just like I want to see more what ifs. Like these are fun. I think these are beautiful stories that are just like one-offs that are great. I think Lucas and Disney need to do a better job of making sure that the general population understand that this is not a part of the actual timeline, to keep just from people trying to use arguments of like, what, in the Ninth Jedi there was just, I just don't want to deal with that.
I agree, and I want more non-canon stuff, so it's a playground.
Yep.
I compare it to, you see the way that some movies and TV shows will take history and bend it. You ever watch Man in the High Castle?
Yes.
That is history is a playground, and IP should be treated the same way. And if you've never seen Man in the High Castle, it takes place in a world where the Axis forces win World War II. That's how we should be treating stories. We shouldn't, all the bullshit of people upset over Angerboda being black in God of War. Who cares? You're literally telling a story of a Greek god who kills the entire pantheon and moves to the Norse mythology. Like, come on. Yeah, like, who cares? They're storytelling. Let people tell stories. If you don't like it, don't consume it. It's on you. So, back to Star Wars. None of this is canon, but I don't care. I enjoyed it, Does it come into a conversation later when we, try and create timelines and Tim and I theory craft? Yeah, we can't pull from this. Doesn't mean I don't want to sit down and I plowed through this. I had a blast. It was fun. Even the episodes I didn't like, I enjoyed watching. So, The Twins does take place post episode 9. There are these 2 children born from, it seems, dark side mysticism.
So cool.
Am I wrong?
Are you wrong for what?
Is it dark? It seems like a combination of dark side mysticism and science that created these.
Yeah, most definitely.
Twins.
It was evil cloning.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
I want more of that.
That part right there just hooked me. I was just like, oh, please do go on.
And then the twin turning on the other twin.
Saw that one coming.
Duh.
I love this like
somehow.
super mega Star Destroyer that's it has the Death Star cannon in between them. I loved how everything in the entire, I don't know if you noticed this, but the entire episode was all about twins. Like literally everything was about twins. Like the two ships conjoined by the cannon. Like
Did you notice their 2 droids were mirrored after R2 and C-3PO?
Most definitely. But there was a lot of things where it was playing into a lot of stuff in this episode played off each other, which I thought was really fun.
The battle was so anime.
Oh, very much. I love that they're fighting out in space and they didn't have spacesuits, but then the robot had to wear a spacesuit, which I thought was really good.
I didn't even pick up on that. That's even funnier.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I was sitting there like, they've been out there for a while.
Yep.
But whatever. Again, and there's going to be people. I said it as a joke. I said all in good fun, and I laughed when I tweeted because I was like live tweeting my entire experience with this. But I know there's people out there like, oh, they were in space and they can't breathe in space. It's like, oh God, here we go again with arguing the laws of physics within the world of space magic. Can get a grip. But it was a really fun fight. The lightsaber whip situation was awesome.
Yes, that was really good. Well, as soon as that happened, I was just like, General Kenobi, because it looked like
did the same thing.
That whole scene. I was waiting for like a hello there.
Well, that episode played homage to the series big time because even the brother, he kept popping off one-liners from the movies the entire episode. So I think they were purposefully pulling.
I love the part. She's like, "Where are you gonna take this power core into a galaxy far, far away?" And I was like, "He said the thing. He did the thing."
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job of just doing the fan service, having fun, playing with it. Animation style, not my cup of tea, but everything about the episode was just fun, and I'm fine with that. I enjoy fun.
All right.
Village Bride. I felt like it was slow, but it picked up at the end.
It did. It was fun at the end. It was very just anime.
It reminded me of the planet we visit in Mandalorian when he meets the woman that he wants to stay
with the rice patties.
Child. Yeah, that's the planet it reminded me of.
No.
But it was a fun story. It was a culture we never experienced in Star Wars, so that was all new. The marriage rituals and whatnot. They clued you in on the timeline there. It was post Clone Wars because they had recommissioned those droids that were left over from the
I thought that was
Clone
good.
Wars.
Or it was during the Clone Wars. That was another thought of mine. I was thinking about that and I was like, this could be during the Clone Wars occupation.
Yeah, it could be. They said they were decommissioned though. They did use that word.
Yeah, it just didn't feel like it was already the fall of the Empire. So like I was trying to figure out like either it's after episode 6 and they found all those the B1 battle droids, or that was like right around that, either between like episode 3 and episode 4. Yeah.
Aside from that, her lightsaber was phenomenal.
Very
the way,
cool.
Yeah, the way the blade came up, it was just a really cool lightsaber. But like you said, it reminded me of the animation style from Avatar Nickelodeon.
Yes,
that was the vibe I got from it. But it was a good story. I enjoyed it. Started slow, picked up. All right, Ninth Jedi. The internet,
this one
from what
good.
I saw, claimed that this was their favorite episode.
This one and La Pinocho are like my favorite. The Ninth Jedi, the
Best
entire
stories.
story from start to finish was just a beautiful. It had great twists. I couldn't tell who was the bad guy, who was the good guy. I loved everything about it. I also love this period of, it's been so long since they've seen a Jedi. It's been so long since they've had lightsabers and like the way has just been lost. But the Sith, of course, still find ways to survive, which I thought was just really, really cool. This is another one where I would love to see an actual Star Wars anime pulled from, because again, it's one of these periods we've never seen before. It's like it's either so far into the future or it's so far into the past. Like I would assume it's really, really far into the future, like so far into the future that everything is just so advanced and everyone's forgotten. I would love to see more of this. I loved everything about it. The setting, the people, the storytelling. It was just fantastic, start to finish.
Yeah, the plot twist was good. The lightsaber smith, I would love to learn more about. Okay, if it's the future, how did this craft continue?
Right.
If no one was using lightsabers. One Easter egg in this episode that I think is an Easter egg, and feel free to reach out to us on social media and let us know what you think. But the helmet that the Margrave is wearing looks very similar to a helmet you get in the Sith Inquisitor storyline in Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO. Very similar. The only difference that I could notice was some of the lights on it. The shape, the look of it, everything felt the same. Also, the Margrave's droid was awesome. Awesome.
Yes. Yeah, he just like comes out of it. It was so like, good.
Yo, what's up?
The art style was just so good too. Like this made me feel like I was watching like an old Robotech or like Macross or even like a Gundam Wing kind of like episode. Like it was so good.
Even in that temple though, he threw the one Sith down and he caught on fire when he hit the I have so many questions about the lore of what's going on here. What is this temple? Is it Sith? Is it Jet?
I liked how the way he crafted the lightsabers. with the kyber crystals is that it changed colors with whoever held the lightsaber. I thought that was so neat.
Yeah, because then it's the question is, does it have something to do with your alignment with the Force?
That's exactly what that's what you're saying, is that it's synced with the user's ability to, like, their connection to the Force.
So again, very creative, outside the box, had a blast. I was literally taking notes during that episode, like, my God, what is this? What is this? What is this? What's this?
Yeah, it was
What's
very
this?
good. Can we just both
fun.
agree to skip over TOB1?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Real quick.
It wasn't
TOB1 was terrible until the very end. I thought the fight was fun to watch. That was it.
The fight was cute. It was not as bad as Tatooine Rhapsody for me, though. Tatooine Rhapsody was worse.
Yeah. TOB1, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is Mega Man. It's Mega Man with a lightsaber.
Chibi animation. It reminded me of an old Saturday morning Japanese cartoon from when I was a kid. That was the vibe.
Yep. All right. The Elder.
The Elder. You talk about this because you have a way different take than I do.
The Elder was good.
Reasons.
The Elder was great. The hardest part for me with this is that, I mean, I'm friends with Jordan Fisher, and so Jordan Fisher is a voice actor in this episode. He is the Padawan. I think his name's Dan. It was just all I saw was Jordan the entire time, so it actually made this episode awkward for me, because it was just like, this is Jordan. This is Jordan the whole time. So it was weird, but the entire fight was really cool. I loved this old Sith guy. I loved, like, they hadn't seen Sith in a very, very long time.
His eyes were haunting.
Yeah, the way he moved, he looked like a Dark Souls enemy.
And one thing I posted when I was watching this, I said this is something that they really need to tap into in the canon universe. We always hear the Jedi say, we haven't seen a Sith in 1,000 years, 100 years, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. They're out there the whole entire time. They don't stop. And this is a perfect example of how many times did the Jedi encounter a Sith and brush it under the rug because they didn't want to admit to their higher-ups, or the council didn't want anyone to know that the Sith have persisted throughout all of time.
Yep.
And that is what I loved about this episode. It proved that point, that is a place that Star Wars needs to explore, and look how cool it is. Because they get to the planet. It wasn't even like he landed. He was in space still, and he's like, I feel the darkness.
Yeah.
That's how strong this little old man was in the Force. So loved it. Would love more stories like that.
Agreed.
And maybe not voice acted by Jordan Fisher.
No, Jordan did a good job. No, Jordan Fisher did a fantastic job.
I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I could if it was like voice acted by you or Ben, I would have been like the whole time like, it's kind of ruined.
Right? It's a little weird.
So that was Visions. Overall, I think they're going to do another season of Visions probably in a year or two, and maybe give some of these studios and some new studios a shot. I think the overall reception was positive, and like you said, maybe they will start to order series from some of these.
The way that I saw Visions for me was them to just see the overall reception to an art style like this, or storytelling like this. Like I think there's a lot of room for other types of Star Wars content to live in, and a animated cartoon like this with a deep story and fun graphics animation. I think something like this could do really, really well.
I think it was Nate that said the Duel and the Elder were made by the same studio, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I am wrong, but if that's the case, then maybe that's a studio I need to watch some anime from if I want to get into it, because both of those vibes I was heavily into. Other bit of news this week, the rumor leaked that Quantic Dream is making a Star Wars game. Now, Tim just played through Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
So it's fresh with you. I played them each kind of around release date, so it's been a few years, but it's fresh with you. Mm-hmm. What does that look like? Go.
Yeah, so a Star Wars game made by Quantic Dream is really exciting for me. The idea to have a Star Wars game where every single decision that I make has an outcome is really, really cool. It's also a little terrifying, again, going back into this whole canon argument of what is canon and what is not. So if Quantic Dream comes out with a game, let's use Beyond or we'll use Detroit Becomes Human as an example. There's like 87 different endings, possible endings for that. So that means that there's 87 different Star Wars endings for a game that would be canon. Like that's like even just going through Jedi Fallen Order, there was a lot of material to take in. There was a lot of material to understand, and that was still a linear path. You know, getting into the whole Zepho thing and like the fall of the Republic, going into the Galactic Empire, like there was a lot in that story to digest. So having to go through a Detroit Becomes Human style game in a Star Wars universe with Star Wars characters is super freaking exciting. It's also a little scary for me as someone who is a big Star Wars fan who also plays video games. I'm gonna want to see every single possible ending that could come out of this game because I want to know what happens.
That was my problem with Detroit Become Human. I played it 3 times because I wanted to see how many. I did one time, very peaceful and no violence. The second time I went straight Terminator and tried to kill everyone that I possibly could.
Yeah.
And then the third time I was like, how would Kevin do this? And a mix of both.
Yeah. So I would assume that then this game would then be considered a game in the Star Wars, out of the Star Wars world, but it doesn't really have any true gravity within the Star Wars storytelling timeline.
Could be that, or they could do what they did with KOTOR 1 and 2, which was there is a canon version of the game.
Yeah. And then so to that point, you could just play like the linear story of like how it's supposed to be, and then you could get to play the sandbox version where it's like all your decisions matter. Like it's not going to affect the Star Wars universe as a whole, but again, you could play into that multiverse of like you get to create your own Star Wars universe by your decisions.
Yeah. In KOTOR, for instance, Revan is male, but if you play it, you can choose female or male.
Mm-hmm.
In 2, Mitra Surik, the Void in the Force, she is a woman, but again, you can make the choice to be a man or a woman. So there's canon versions of, well, there was in the Legends time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, they can say, okay, this is the canon version of it after it's been out for 6 months. Maybe make a comic or a book or something that solidifies that.
Right.
But you can still have that sandbox to do whatever you want. So how hard are you going to tap into the dark side?
Yeah, and that's the exciting part too, Kevin, is like a lot like games like Fable. You get that decision of being like kind of neutral or being aligned on one side or the other. And so just like, your tiny dialogue changes could overall affect your alignment, which is really cool. That's really neat. Like the idea of having decisions really affect the outcome of a game is exciting because, your decisions really do matter. A lot like a survival game. It's exciting to know that this could possibly happen. And it seems like it's more and more a reality and not so much a dream. The amount of articles that have come out about this, it's pretty hard for me not to believe this at this point. There's so many different articles that are being written about Quantic Dream and a Star Wars IP. So, and it makes sense. Like Lucas Games, right? Is that what we're calling it? Lucas Games? Lucasfilm Games. Whatever. The publisher seems to be very, very aggressive with getting Star Wars in the hands of as many developers as possible. Unlike their original strategy with EA was instead of, like with the expanding universe and Legends, instead of letting everyone do it, let's just focus on one production studio doing that. Well, that didn't really work out. We didn't get as many games because there was only like 2 or 3 studios working on it. We got essentially 3 functioning Star Wars titles out of EA within a 10-year contract, which is a long freaking time with not a lot of work to show for, unfortunately. But when you can hand it out to 20 different studios, oh my God, the amount of games that are going to come out, also the different styles of Star Wars games that are going to come out is massive in comparison.
Agreed. And I'm excited to see the future now. I'm hoping this gets announced by Celebration, maybe sooner. But they announced yesterday, too, that KOTOR's going to be on Switch. KOTOR's like the new Skyrim. They're just putting it wherever they can put it. But
we're still holding on to the KOTOR remake is only coming out on PS5 that we know of right now, right?
It's initial PS5 release, so it will release on PC.
I wonder if they're going to do like they do with Kana, is that it's going to be a PC PS5 release.
Yeah, well, PS5 or PlayStation Sony seems to be of the mind that they can release a game on their console and then release it on PC. They just don't want it on Xbox. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Well, they know they're going to sell way more way more units on PC as well than they would on just PS5 alone. Because look at it, their PS5 sales aren't that high because of all the scammers and whatnot. So like people are still having a hard time getting a unit.
November 12th is Disney Plus Day.
What? Okay, so we're gonna get a Boba Fett show that day,
That's
or a Boba Fett episode,
we're getting
right?
We're getting a look into Boba's history.
But it's not going to be a chapter from the Book of Boba.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
No, it's a Boba Fett special is the exact words that Disney is using.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's live action, to be honest.
And have they put out the cast list for this yet?
No.
We have no idea who's in it. Okay.
No, I'm on IMDb right now. I don't see anything.
We just know that Tamora Morrison is that the right?
Yeah, I mean he's the voice of Boba in the
Tatooine Rhapsody. Yeah. So
I would
we just assume that it's just going to be him and random ensemble of other bounty hunters.
It might be some sort of like look back to prepare us for Book of Boba. So maybe it's flashback. I don't know. Maybe sitting in a cantina telling stories. I don't know.
You want to hear the one time I killed a little alien because he looked at me funny?
You and I have said our words about Boba, and at the same time we'll always take Star Wars content no matter what it is. I think they're milking Tamir Morrison at this point because he's getting older, and he's not going to be able to play Boba Fett, in 30 years.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if they'll explain the Sarlacc pit.
That'd be nice.
That'd be really nice, right? Or like why he dumped his armor and why it got out before he did. There's a lot of questions, and I really hope they just use this opportunity to explain Boba Fett and just look. Honestly, yeah, that's what I want that episode to be, Kevin. I want it to be hey, we understand there's some confusion amongst the community. Here you go.
Impress us.
That's all I want. I mean, I know they kind of do it in the comic book, but I wanted to visually see it. Give me the story.
Give it to me. Well, that's going to do it for episode 54 of Star Wars and Scotch. Thank you so much for hanging out with Tim and I on this. Tim and I, it's Friday. You might be listening to it on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, maybe even Tuesday or Wednesday.
Who knows?
Who knows? But thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Make sure you head over to highscoretees.com and get that 5th anniversary Rare Drop merch. It's the Fun, Fortune, and Adventure shirts. If you're a patron too, you can see me dancing around in full ska gear and the ska stuff, which is silly.
We live in the 90s.
There's also another WTF episode available to everyone, so you can see if you like it. Patreon.com/raredrop. You can listen to it for free there. And if you like it, you can subscribe and listen to more of them because they're for patrons only usually. But again, highscoretees.com/raredrop. You can check out Tim Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern.
Yo.
fb.gg/darkness429 and darkness429 everywhere else on the internet. You should follow him on TikTok. I keep getting all of his TikToks.
Aw, thanks, Kevin.
All the time. You are in my algorithm right now, just completely with conspiracy theories. It's just you and conspiracy theories. That's it. And you can check out everything I'm doing at raredrop.co. Site got a new little paint job, so you can check out some new stuff on there and see what we're up to. Maybe you require the services of the Rare Drop agency. Ooh. Who knows? raredrop.co. And as always, I leave you with this. There is no try, only do. You thought I was going to do the other thing. Bye.